Wait, before you even try to impress a woman with your looks, your money, or your status, let me ask you something far more important. Do you actually know how to make her feel seen without her saying a word? That right there is where most men miss the mark. Because the truth is, women aren't easily attracted to what you show them on the surface. They're drawn to what you understand, especially emotionally. Emotional intelligence is a man's hidden superpower. It's not about being soft or overly emotional. It's about being aware, present, and attuned. Most men are so focused on what to say to impress her that they completely ignore the silent language she speaks, her expressions, her energy, the way she reacts when something shifts in the conversation. A man who knows how to pick up on these things without being told, that man feels rare. And women are instantly drawn to him. You see, emotional intelligence shows up in the way you respond instead of react. It's how you handle conflict without blowing up, how you notice when she withdraws and check in instead of getting defensive. It's when she says she's fine and you can tell she's not, and you gently offer space or support, whichever she truly needs. That's a level of awareness that makes her feel safe without needing to explain everything. And when a woman feels emotionally safe with a man, attraction is no longer just physical, it becomes mental, emotional, and even spiritual. It's in how you listen, not just hearing her words, but actually absorbing what's behind them. A woman will open up more to a man who truly listens than to a man who constantly tries to impress. And no, this isn't about trying to fix her feelings. It's about knowing when to simply be present without needing to solve everything. A man who understands that her emotions aren't problems, they're part of her experience, will always stand out. Because that kind of understanding is rare. Most men either get overwhelmed by female emotion or try to escape it altogether. But a man who can stay grounded and calm in those moments, that's powerful. And let's be honest, emotional intelligence isn't something you can fake. Women have sharp intuition. They know when a man is genuinely in tune and when he's just pretending to care to get closer to her. You don't have to be perfect at it, but the fact that you're even trying, that you're aware, already separates you from the crowd. It tells her, I'm not just here to take from you, I'm here to understand you. That understanding builds trust, and trust is the foundation of every lasting attraction. So no, it's not your bank account or your six-pack that will keep her coming back. It's how deeply she feels understood by you. Because the man who can understand her without her having to explain everything, that's the man she can't stop thinking about. Stop chasing the loudest guy in the room for advice, because here's the truth no one talks about. The men women are most drawn to are rarely the ones shouting the loudest. In fact, the most attractive men often speak less, move calmer, and hold presence without ever needing to raise their voice or seek attention. Confidence, real confidence, is quiet. It doesn't need to prove itself. It doesn't need to show off. And it definitely doesn't need to beg for recognition. Because when a man truly knows who he is, his worth, his strength, his value, he walks differently. He looks you in the eye differently. He stands still in a world that's constantly trying to shake him. That's the kind of energy women are magnetized by. A woman might notice the guy flexing at the center of the room, but she remembers the man who sat back, calm and composed, saying very little, but commanding attention without trying. There's something incredibly attractive about a man who doesn't chase approval, who doesn't need to dominate the conversation just to feel seen, who doesn't break under pressure to prove his masculinity. Instead, he simply lets his energy speak, and it always does louder than his words ever could. You see, when your confidence is rooted in something deep, when it comes from a place of knowing, not needing, women feel it. They feel safe in your presence because you're not trying to impress, you're not trying to win them over. You're just being. And that being, that stillness, that self-assured calm is magnetic. Most men mistake arrogance for confidence, but arrogance needs an audience. Real confidence doesn't. Real confidence is built in solitude. It's the product of inner work, of facing yourself, of knowing your own limits and embracing them without apology. It's about walking into a room and not needing to prove anything to anyone, because your presence already does. This doesn't mean being passive, it means being intentional. It means choosing your words carefully, moving with purpose, and knowing when to act and when to hold back. And when a woman sees that kind of control, that kind of discipline, it tells her something powerful. This man doesn't need attention, which makes her want his even more. There's also something incredibly sexy about a man who listens more than he speaks, who watches and observes, who isn't trying to control the moment but is aware of it. She feels that, she respects it, and she begins to wonder what's going on inside that quiet mind. That mystery, when done right, is irresistible. Because at the end of the day, the loudest man in the room might get noticed first, but the quiet, confident one, he's the one she can't forget. Let me tell you something most men don't realize. A man without purpose is invisible to a woman's deeper desires. Sure, you can dress well, smell nice, and say all the right things, but if your life feels empty or directionless, she'll feel it instantly, because women don't just want a man, they're drawn to where he's going. A man with purpose doesn't need to announce his goals or explain his vision every time he speaks. It's in the way he wakes up with intention. It's in the way he makes decisions. Clear, steady, and unapologetic. His energy tells you that he's moving towards something bigger than himself, and that kind of direction is naturally attractive. Women feel it in their core. When a man has purpose, his time has value. He's not easily distracted. He doesn't waste his energy trying to entertain or impress anyone who doesn't add to his journey. That's not arrogance, it's alignment. He knows what matters to him, and that's exactly what makes a woman lean in. She starts wondering what it is about him that feels so focused, so magnetic, so grounded. The truth is, she's not just attracted to him, she's attracted to the life he's building. Think about it. When a man is driven by something meaningful, his whole aura changes. His conversations have depth. His movements have clarity. He's not chasing people. He's chasing purpose. And ironically, that's what brings people, especially women, toward him. Because purpose gives a man identity. It shapes his values. It gives his life structure, rhythm, and pride. And women are wired to sense that. You see, women don't fall in love with empty charm. They fall for vision, for passion, for commitment. You don't have to be rich or famous. You just need to care deeply about something, build something, chase something, stand for something. Because when you do, your energy becomes infectious. And that's what women respond to on a level they often can't even explain. Here's the other thing. When you're grounded in purpose, you become harder to manipulate. You're no longer easily swayed by attention, seduction, or distraction. You're focused. And that kind of focus is intimidating in the best way. It shows you value yourself and your time. And a woman sees that and respects it because she knows she can't play games with a man who knows his worth and where he's headed. Women crave to be a part of something that feels alive. And when you're a man on a mission, your life becomes that story, one she wants to be invited into. But if you have no direction, if you're drifting without reason, it won't matter how good you look or how smooth you talk. Attraction fades when there's nothing deeper holding it up. So don't chase women, chase your purpose. Because the man who's focused on becoming something greater, he's the one women naturally want to follow. Let me tell you something, most men completely overlook. You don't have to play games to stand out. In fact, the more you try to manipulate your image or rehearse the perfect line, the more forgettable you become. Because the truth is, women are more attracted to authenticity than they'll ever be to a performance. You might think you need to act cool, hide your flaws, or become someone else to be liked. But women can smell pretense from miles away. And when they do, something inside them quietly disconnects. You may still be in the room, but you've already lost her interest. Why? Because deep down, women don't want perfection. They want realness, vulnerability wrapped in quiet strength, honesty without apology. Being authentic means you're not trying to impress her. You're just expressing yourself. You're not dressing to be someone else. You're showing up as you. You're not lying about your lifestyle, pretending to have things you don't, or trying to align with her interests just to get closer. You're allowing her to see the real you, and that's exactly what creates deeper attraction. Because when you stop performing, she stops guessing, and now she can actually connect. Here's the crazy part. Most men think if they reveal who they really are, they'll be rejected. But it's actually the opposite. When you're honest about your flaws, your values, your boundaries, you stand out. Because very few men are willing to be that bold, that raw, that unfiltered. And that kind of authenticity builds trust. And trust is what keeps your coming back when the butterflies fade. You don't need to follow some script. You don't need to recite what you saw in some viral video. You just need to be aligned. Your words, your energy, your intentions, all of it. Women notice when what you say matches how you live. That's the kind of consistency that makes her feel safe. And attraction grows in safety, not in confusion. When you're real, you give her the space to be real too, and that's when true chemistry happens. Not the short-lived kind based on looks or charm, but the kind that builds silently, deeply, and doesn't go away. And yes, being authentic may cost you some people, but the ones who stay, they'll stay for the right reasons. So many men are out here trying to play roles, trying to mimic what they think women want, hoping to impress their way into someone's heart. But the men who actually win, the ones women crave and respect, are the ones who walk in with nothing to hide. Because when a woman feels she's seeing the real you, and that realness is grounded, strong, and unshakable, there's nothing more attractive than that. Let me stop you right here and say something most men don't want to hear. You can be the most loving, the most loyal, the most giving man in the room, but if you don't know when to walk away, you'll lose your power. Read that again. Because that one truth can change the entire way women respond to you. You see, women are not just attracted to love or attention, they're attracted to value. And when you don't show that you value yourself enough to walk away from disrespect, mixed signals, or emotional games, what you're silently saying is, I'll settle for anything just to keep you. And once a woman senses that kind of energy, the attraction starts to fade fast. Here's the truth that a lot of men don't realize until it's too late. Your willingness to walk away is your strongest negotiation tool in any relationship. It's not about being cold. It's not about being toxic. It's about knowing your worth so clearly that you refuse to stay anywhere you're not fully appreciated. And that kind of strength, that's what women really respect. When you stay in situations that drain you, when you keep explaining yourself to someone who's already decided not to listen, when you keep tolerating behavior you wouldn't accept from anyone else, it doesn't make you loyal. It makes you available for suffering. And a woman might take advantage of that at first, but deep down, she doesn't admire it. She might use it. She might even get addicted to the control, but respect, that fades. And when respect fades, so does attraction. Now here's the twist. Women actually test you, often without even realizing it. They test to see how far they can push your boundaries. Not because they're cruel, but because they want to feel where your line is. They want to know, is this a man who values himself enough to walk away if I cross it, or will he keep sticking around no matter how I treat him? Every time you allow behavior that goes against your standards, you train her to believe that you don't really have any, that your presence is unconditional, even when it's not deserved. And that's when she starts pulling back. That's when she starts treating you like an option instead of a priority. And you might find yourself wondering what changed, when really, it was never attraction she lost, it was respect. But when you do walk away, when you choose your peace over chaos, your growth over comfort, your dignity over desire, that sends a shockwave, because suddenly she realizes that your love comes with standards, that your time and energy aren't free, that your presence is a gift, not something to be taken for granted. And sometimes that's the exact moment she wakes up and sees your value clearly. It's ironic, isn't it? The moment you're truly willing to lose her is often when she starts chasing you, because now she feels something she didn't before. Consequence. And consequence is powerful. It makes people reevaluate. It makes them question what they thought they could get away with. It makes them see you through a different lens. But let's be clear, this isn't about playing games. This isn't about walking away to manipulate someone into loving you. This is about walking away because you love yourself too much to stay where love isn't mutual. You're not punishing her, you're protecting your peace, you're preserving your dignity. And that in itself is the highest form of self-respect. And here's the beautiful part. The moment you master this mindset, you stop fearing loss. You stop clinging, you stop begging, you stop overthinking every word or worrying about where you stand. Because you already know, if someone can't meet you with the same energy, you're willing to release them. Not with hate, not with bitterness, but with clarity and grace. That kind of emotional detachment isn't cold, it's powerful. It shows that your love is intentional, not desperate. And when a woman feels that from you, when she realizes she can't control you with withdrawal, can't manipulate you with silence, can't bait you with drama, she either levels up to meet you or steps back completely. And either outcome, that's a win for you. So remember this. Walking away doesn't make you weak. It doesn't mean you didn't care. It means you cared enough about yourself to choose better. And the man who can do that, the man who doesn't chase what runs, doesn't beg to stay where he's not valued, that's the kind of man women crave but rarely find. Because nothing is more attractive than a man who knows how to walk away with his head high and his standards intact.